A few years ago, Domino's Pizza stumbled on what's becoming a huge contemporary marketing trend, demonstrating brand authenticity. It actually started out as an R&D project. At the time, Domino's was hemorrhaging market share and their stock price was underperforming because people thought their pizza tasted poorly, badly, whatever you want to say. Bad pizza, didn't taste good. So they decided to undertake this R&D project by asking customers what was wrong with their pizza and what they should do to fix it. And they actually succeeded. They came up with a better recipe. But when it came time to market this new and improved, they had a marketing problem. The problem was new and improved had been used so much in so many other products, they knew it wouldn't penetrate the psyche of their target market. So they did something really human, really vulnerable, really authentic. They actually aired their dirty laundry. You might remember the commercials. It started off with people from the focus groups telling Domino's that their crust tasted like cardboard and that their pizza had no soul. Now, to take the edge off the campaign, Domino's wrapped this campaign in a little bit of humor to show a more human side. And it worked because it bought them a little bit of space in their target market's brain to talk about their new and improved recipe. This campaign was the catalyst for a meteoric rise of Domino's stock price from a low of $10 to $12 to last year it peaked at $500. So why did it work so well? And why are so many modern brands like Duolingo, Kentucky Fried Chicken, even serious brands like Lenovo and Progressive Insurance embracing self-deprecating humor and brand authenticity? In one word, it's millennials. The new economic power in the economy, the millennials value brand authenticity as the second most important factor in choosing who they want to do business with, right behind brand loyalty, at least according to The Economist. And Interbrand found that self-deprecating humor in a brand authenticity campaign is actually super effective in showing a more human side of a brand. In fact, the modern buyer in many industries just doesn't trust overly polished brands. Now, an overly polished brand was the reason behind the success and the catalyst to another brand authenticity campaign at Buick. Buick had this really polished brand image from back in the 50s and 60s, but they knew that their next generation of target market, their new buyer, had a different image of Buick, and they embraced it. What they found out in a single phrase was that the image they owned with the next generation of buyers was old man's car. And so in their campaign, they actually set to work like Domino's did. They improved the design of their cars just like Domino's improved their recipe, but they knew in their marketing they had to address the elephant in the room. And they did very effectively. You might remember the campaigns. Not your father's Buick evolved into not your grandfather's Buick, evolved into, wow, that's a Buick. And the campaign and its authenticity and its humor is credited with vaulting Buick into the consideration set of a whole new generation of buyers. So what's the recipe here? First of all, brand authenticity campaigns are not a magic bullet. If you've got a problem with your product or service, like Domino's, like Buick, you have to fix the design. But the same research that informs that design can also be modified to capture what is owned in the brain of the customer. What's the perception of the brand in a single word or a phrase? You'll know that you've done this right if you've got a turnaround brand. If you don't like the word or phrase, you're not going to be happy with it. But then you have the opportunity, once you fix the product or service, to leverage what is owned in the brain and see if there's a way that you can use humor and self-deprecation to create a little space, to call out the elephant in the room so people take notice and are in the right mindset to listen to why and how you have changed. One other piece of advice. If you're going to do this kind of self-deprecating authenticity campaign, you've got to be the first in your industry to do it. There's nothing more inauthentic than being seen as a copycat. In marketing, you want to be an original. Speaking of an original,